2-1. Welcome back here to Flagship City Sports, the Curling League Championships. Now joined alongside Rob Frank. And Rob, we have one finalist already set off constantly, coming away with an 11-6 victory. And now it's time for Hazards and Revox Renegades in semifinal number 2.
You know, things have changed a lot down here. Earlier the first game we had sunlight coming in. Now it's colder. The wind's blowing through. It's definitely a different match, a different feel in the inside our court here in the Perry Square stage.
Yeah, we'll see if there's maybe a little slick. A couple of stones early on were catching there, maybe still because of the warmer surface. Maybe things start to glide a little more here for Hazards and Revox Renegade. Should be a good, if anything can match what we saw in the first, some highly talented players. Should be a good matchup here between Hazards and Revox Renegades.
You know, earlier in the previous match, they said that when this surface, because this surface isn't ice, it's a special glide surface that is made for these special curling discs, and Ryan told us that as it gets colder, it tends to slide a little bit more, and they said during the winter time it very much acts like ice. So, you know, the temperature's dropped almost 15 degrees at this point, so that surface might act completely different in this game versus the first game. And then, of course, our semifinal winners off constantly will then face the court that is colder. So the way they threw the stones the first match might be completely different from the third match when they play in the championship after this.
Yeah, they said they're going to have to change the strategy. We do want to thank our official sponsors, Hazards Indoor Mini Golf and Social Club, along with IPA Pizza, making sure that this is possible to bring this to you on an exciting time here as we inch closer, Rob, to spring, but also inching closer now as we're set for semifinal number 2.
Absolutely. Okay, got the intro.
Ready to rock.
Shane, we have the intro recorded. We're ready whenever you guys are. Okay, scoring is?
Scoring, well, it depends. So
is it closest to the pins?
Closest to the pins appointed, but if you have another one closer
they
than
offset?
your opponent, no. Whoever's closer gets 1 point.
Okay.
And then if it's you have 2 of yours closer than one of the opponents, you get 2 points, or 3
or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if the other...
And then they kind of self-measure then?
Yeah.
Okay.
14 ends. Ends is the inning, per se,
inning,
quarter.
Okay. Did you guys, I didn't listen to the beginning of your broadcast, did you go over like the scoring and the rules and all that stuff?
Yeah, we went over a little bit. We'll recap, though, just for
the purpose of the
people
broadcast.
are just tuning in.
People are just tuning in.
Dre Greenlaw to the Broncos. 3 years, $35 million. Now people are tweeting about Kyler Murray trade to the Steelers. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't see that happening.
How does that improve your team?
The Steelers need a, I don't know.
Well, right now they're positioned to get 3. What's it called? They could get 3 compensatory picks next year to potentially move up in the draft.
All right, their first player is warming up.
Okay.
We won the championship last year.
Well, we've upgraded. We've upgraded a little bit. We decided to add some things. It's going to be even more next year. Wait till we do it actually live next year. Oh, we will. We're going to have. I might even bring the jib arm. We'll fly the jib arm over top. I mean, we'll go all the way. We'll go all the way.
I want to see it.
All right, who's blue? Who's red?
It looks like Hazard Social Pub is blue, and okay, and we're off to the races
here we go.
here.
First stone there, Rob. It's going to come up light of the house there.
Yep.
This is semifinal number 2. First semifinal went to off constantly by an 11-6 score. Here is the first stone up for Revox Renegades.
Interesting setup here, offset here. And, okay, we're in the circle.
So they're in position there in the house for the opening point if things ended here, but still 3 stones apiece for both the Hazards and Revox Renegades. Drink of choice as well, getting set for this one. Going to balance it out. That one goes in there.
Excellent stone, right in the inside red circle. So point in now for Hazards, I believe.
Yeah, for the Hazards.
Yep,
Here's
Hazard.
Revox Renegades, the youngest competitor here this evening we saw. That one flips, so that one is out. If it flips up at any point there, Rob, it does not count regardless if it ends up in the house there.
And it has to slide. It has to be slid in, correct? So if it pops up in any capacity, it's over.
Yeah, so as we go here for the third throw.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
kind of changed position there. So still only 1 point right now for Hazards. You get 1 point if you're the closest, and then if you have 1, 2, or 3 more closer than your opponent,
they've
you
got
can
a
get as many
solid
as 4.
center line here protecting. And, oh, well, a nice bounce out. And now it looks like we've got 2 points. So a 2-point, a 1 point to a 2-point swing for Revox.
Yeah, Revox Renegades currently would get 2 points if things ended here. But we see the toss, and that's going to be 2 points there, it looks like, for Revox Renegades. We'll go for an official, well, they've still got 1 throw.
Let's see
premature there.
See if Chris can add an extra one in here.
And that's going to be close. I think they're going to get at least 1, probably 2 here for.
So I'm going to say it's 2 because I think that the inside red one is inside there.
So they're looking at the overhead monitor.
Unintentionally put that there. That wasn't the whole purpose, but you know, it's working out for everybody. That's good that the overhead monitor's there.
2
points.
2 points for Revox Renegade after the first end here. Again, if you're just joining us, there's 14 ends. Well, could be up to 14, I should say. If you have more than a 4-point lead, it would end prematurely to that. So the call, you know, if you're accustomed to quarters or innings, that's what an end is here. You can get as many as 4 points per end as the first throw there for Revox Renegades, leading 2 to nothing rather.
And here comes Michelle with Hazards. Ooh, she puts Revox in a better position, but you know, it clears that center line, and sometimes that can be really beneficial.
Yeah, we saw certainly a couple of swings all the way down to the final stone in that first semifinal. So
oh, that was an excellent placement.
It's not over until that last stone is thrown here.
I feel like this is where you need the hammer, you know, you need to just send one right down the center there and just really clear out. Much like that, that's a great play.
So currently that would put the Hazards on the board with at least a point. But again, 2 stones apiece here. John Leidick alongside Rob Frank here at the Flagship City Sports Curling League Championships.
Hazards could be in a really good position here. They really could block off the top half of that circle.
Yeah, you kind of create that diagonal line if you look over top.
And it looks like that's what he's going for, and that's exactly it. He's going for a block in the center, and he does. Drops it in. He doesn't quite have the second point, but he's in a really good position. He's sort of blocked off for that last throw for Revox. He's really going to have to thread the needle across the middle here, and it looks like he's lining up for that.
Good footing here as we have a couple of spectators.
Oh, and he drops it right in, but he does knock his own player out, so.
He at least get a point. Currently, the advantage to Revox Renegades. We'll see how things go for Hazards here on the final stone.
And he hammers him. Oh, no.
So 1 point there.
It looked.
And a 3-0 lead for Revox Renegades after 2 ends here. So up to at least 12 ends, but a good start here for Revox Renegades, looking to join off constantly in that championship bout. They already secured their spot with an 11-6 win in that opening semifinal matchup.
I got to say that last throw there by Hazards. Well, there was a good opportunity. There was a good opportunity to really give yourself a 3-point swing, but it's a tough shot. It's a tough shot right down the center, and they created kind of a narrow pathway to make that attack. So we'll have to see how this next round goes.
Rob, you talk about the turning of the tides. You get these lights out here. Some people they aren't accustomed to that that pressure. It's the first.
But we have a non-glare surface, so I don't think the lights are playing too much of a factor.
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
Revox Renegades here, but again, it's like the championship. You know, the AFC championship. Some of these people haven't been here before. They don't know how to
back and forth. And here we go. The youngest player of Revox. Let's see what he's got. He had a great throw last end. And he has another solid, there's a little too much power there, but he had another solid throw.
Still filling it out. He's young at heart, but a veteran, it looks like, and how to approach things here.
All right, let's see what happens.
Hazard's second stone.
Nice knockout. Very good. Very good. All right, Hazard's in a commanding 2-1 point lead. Just a little bit more in the blue line there for that second point, but here comes Revox and through. So okay, Hazards is in a good position here. 2 stones to 1 left.
They could have a quick bounce back here, trailing 3-0. Revox Renegades.
Well, it appears they're kind of having a little strategy meeting, maybe creating a wall up the front here and sort of locking out opportunities for Revox.
But again, you mentioned a good point in our introduction here with the cooling temperatures starting to get a little more slick than we saw in that opening semifinal. But that would set up 3 points. We could have
that's a 3-point setup right there.
We'll We'll see here.
See what Chris Revox can do here. Oh, wow, he placed it quite well. That still looks like a
Still
point.
going to be a point, but
still
we still
think
got one throw here.
Still got one throw.
One more stone.
This is how we lost last week.
We'll see how Mr. McQueenie does here. Nice play.
That would be
that's three. That's a
three.
3-point swing.
Yeah.
That's a 1 point to 3. That's beautiful.
So all tied up at 3 after 3 ends of play here. Yeah, I think we're just going to count it.
That looks like 3 from the desk.
So 3 all after 3 ends here in the second semifinal of the Flagship City Sports Curling Championships here, 2025. The beautiful board behind us, you see off constantly, and the great artwork here.
You know, some budgetary constraints had to be made. This is an example of the budgetary choices that were made. But hey,
Hey, I can tell you right now, the artwork for the 2 stones there already looks better
well,
than what
you
I've
know,
able to come up with.
You know, we don't hire Ryan for his art ability. And,
Wow,
and as
neither
see
would you
here,
fire me
what
for
did
that.
What did you say that
I
looked
said
like?
that kind of looked like a snake
It
or a
does kind
serpent.
of look like a snake coming out of the
know.
top there.
Now
You know
got
what?
it.
Look, Ryan tried his hardest, and you got to give him some credit. He at least made 1 blue and 1 red. And we're back to the match here.
Conceptually, I wouldn't even have been gotten
And
that
Michelle
far.
with a great toss right to the red circle for the first throw here. Right across the center line, kind of blocks out Hazards. They might have to hammer early and try to clear the board a little bit. See what he does.
Hazards with the blue, the Revox Renegades here with the red. So stone apiece here, currently tied at 3, entering the 4th end here. Again, you can play up to 14 depending on how the score breaks down. If it's a 4-point lead or more heading into that 14th end, you don't have to play.
Hazard's in a tough position here because that he's in a tough position because that 4 stone is going to be hard to play in. That's a great drop by Hazards.
All right, we'll see how our youngest competitor sets things up here. He's talking a little strategy here as he tries to set things up, but great power behind it.
Wow, that was a nice knockout. That was solid.
We said.
I want to say those 2 outer stones are almost equal.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I think a little bit of the white. I think right now Revox Renegades would be in line for 2 points.
Yep.
But that one now
help.
kind of turning the tide. Of course, still the advantage here for Revox Renegades over Hazards. As we're tied here, somebody tries to take the advantage in the 4th.
He would do well to block that out, and that's exactly what he's going to play for, and that's beautiful. That's 2 solid points, and it's going to be pretty hard to knock out 2.
You can hear the strategy being discussed.
I think they're trying to attack the left and hopefully kind of get some ricochet action and take out the right at the same time, or maybe even stall his throw more toward the center. That's exactly what it seems like they're discussing is how did they get that stone to the center while simultaneously knocking one of these hazard stones out.
Again, you think about it in a different way, but also similarly to bowling, how you try to set up those spares on your second throw. 1 sip before we get things underway, and we'll see how this 4th stone goes. And that knocks 2 out, but I still think the advantage goes to Revox Renegades. We'll see if on their final throw they have a chance to add a 2nd point.
Erase that.
A delete camera option.
I believe that Tom McQueenie is calling for a delete camera option. Unfortunately, we're not going to be cutting anything from this show, so he'll have to just deal with that. And Chris from Revox with a beautiful draw. Oh, just a little beyond, but still excellent throw.
So just like that, Revox Renegades retakes the lead at 4-3. They open things up with 3 consecutive points before a 3-point end from Hazards in the 3rd end of action. So we're through 4 ends, a 4-3 lead for Revox Renegades over Hazards here in semifinal number 2, off constantly winners of semifinal number 1 by an 11-6 final.
It's kind of an exciting game. It's fast-paced. You know, a lot of people think joining the curling league, how long is it going to take? It's about 45 minutes, and you know, it seems like a pretty fun activity. Put some friends together, learn to play the game. I mean, you know, it looks like it's a fun time.
And again, you come down here, try something different, especially sometimes in the wintertime. Get outside. You know, you're cooped up for a long time there, Rob, as that one goes.
Michelle throwing a hammer right at the center block, and that's great. It's worth a point, but it's in a good position to block that center line. Makes you attack from the sides, and that's exactly what our youngest player here looks like he might be doing. Oh, he's going to come right up the center.
Look at the savviness that he has. That one almost flipped over. Would have been taken off the board, but still a lane there to the button at center circle there. They're talking about going straight down the line there after that shot kind of opened things up. It goes off to the right, not
so he actually put
wide right, Rob, not something that Buffalo Bills fans usually like to hear.
Oh, let's not talk about that. Some Jets fans, too, while we're on this subject.
We're not making friends here, Rob. In the second semifinal is the Reeboks Renegades.
2 points for Reeboks Renegades right now, and I'll tell you that it appears that Hazards really needs to attack the center circle here and kind of get some points away, and that's exactly what they do with a great knockout, and it's back to 1 point for Reeboks with their throw up. We'll see what Chris from Reeboks does here.
Again, the final throw will go to Hazards on this one, so we'll see how things set up. The strategy behind this one.
He goes for a block up front, which is
2
points, because he just tapped the blue. It looks like he's got 2 points in there, and now it's up to Tom McQueenie to hammer in and see if he can knock some things out here, and I think that's exactly what he's going to try to do.
He's got to go pretty hard, though, because he's got to try and get both those to knock out.
It looks like he's moving. It looks like he's moving a bit left to try to attack left and in. Maybe hit one, then hit the other, and
you almost wonder if we had the ability to sweep here, Rob. You can almost hit the outside outer blue here and try and angle in that way.
Right.
It's an option I think they're probably discussing at this point.
And he looks like he's moving more center court now. He's talking about ricochets for sure.
Fifth year of the Flagship City Sports Curling League Championship, started back in 2019 here. Again,
the final venue for this is pretty awesome. You know, it was a temporary court where they were building the Send, and now up here on the Perry Square stage, which is such a great place. And Tom McQueenie with an excellent shot, and that's a point swing, a 2 point. It was 2 points for
Reeboks
Renegades, and now it's 1 point for Hazards. And wow,
we're all tied up at 4. After 4.
That was an excellent hammer throw. That was an excellent hammer throw by Tom McQueenie. There was an excellent hammer throw.
So we're heading to the 5th end, all tied up at 4 apiece, trying to punch a ticket to the championship game in the finals against Off Constantly.
John, we have some of that sponsor, IPA Pizza here.
IPA Pizza, one of the proud sponsors.
Like
yeah, I will take a, as we try to stay warm here, we start the 5th end here, and it is Hazards with the opening throw. We also want to thank Hazards Indoor Mini Golf and Social Pub, a proud sponsor of tonight's semifinal and championship performance. Get set for the Reeboks Renegades.
Okay, so we've got 2 setups on the outer blue circle, kind of offset of the center line, kind of forcing those players to go right down the middle, which can be challenging. And, you know, it seems really easy when you watch that overhead shot. Oh, I can just put it right in there. But, man, a nice bounce out. And Hazards, again, in a really good position, having that lead stone on the upper blue circle. Looks like Chris from Reeboks might be coaching. I believe that's his son. And I think he's coaching him, trying to get him to drop into the center there.
Leaves it just a tad light there outside.
But you know what? A center block. It's not a bad strategy. Now everybody has to attack from the side. If somebody misses, you could knock his stone right into the center.
Getting set here for the 3rd stone.
I think George is going for a ricochet of his own player, and he plays it. It worked out.
Yeah, got the advantage right now. 2 stones to none. I think that one red stone is a bit outside.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that. So, yeah, they actually have a 2 point. So that was a really nice play by George. And it looks like Reeboks kind of knocked a stone in, and I can't really tell from here. I feel like
we'd have some measurements there.
I think Hazards is in more though, because Reeboks is just a little bit on the blue.
If you look,
I think it's a 1 point for.
Yeah, if you look at the monitor right now, you can see a slight advantage there. Going with the long distance eyesight there, Rob.
You know, it's funny. I put that up there just to monitor our overhead camera, but the team is actually using it for confirmation, which is great. It was unintentional, but it worked out quite well. I think next year we'll have to increase the monitor size. And Tom McQueenie comes in with another hammer shot, and he's now in a 3-point position, and a tough throw for Chris to try to swing this the other way.
You knock it out, though. Changes the tides. Oh.
Well, he took out 2, but I'll tell you what, that was a solid recovery by Chris, taking a 3-point lead, a 3-point end to 1 for Hazards. It's 5-4. We're what, 5 ends in now, so we're
Five
we're
ends
about
and
a third of the way through. Oh, 7th in. We're in the 7th in. So we're the 7th in. So we're about halfway, a little over halfway.
Yeah, we're halfway home.
How long have you been calling curling? I don't know. I don't know if you guys need to see it.
There we go. Heading into our 7th end, a 5-4 lead for the Hazard. 6? 5-4. Okay. Confirming our scores there as the Hazards get ready.
They have, is it 5-4? Is that what we have? 5-4. Okay.
7th end. Somehow, Rob, I have lost an end in each of the 2 semifinals.
Well, you know, the thing is, they are going.
They got a good pace.
They're got a good pace for the game, and that's great. You know, that's what's nice about a league like this. You're not spending 3.5 hours at your league. You know, you're coming in for an hour, and that's good.
Have a little fun, a couple of laughs, enjoy a couple of drinks. Maybe a Shirley Temple for our
Nice
youngest
drop.
competitors.
I'll tell you what, he's got a unique throw, but it just sort of stalls out and ends up on the top there, and he's easily in a 2-point position for Revox now.
He's kind of like that lefty specialist you see in baseball, kind of a different motion coming from underneath. He's kind of got the side full arm extension, but he's got that stone spinning the right way.
George had a nice little tap out there and has reduced the lead for Revox by 1. But they do have a 2-to-1 stone advantage here, so that's a slight disadvantage. Okay, offset outside, okay.
Currently standing as a 5-4 lead for Hazards over Revox.
I'd imagine Tom McQueen's going to go for a straight attack here, and he does. And he knocks out beautifully, and they have 2 points now. So it went from 1 for Revox to 2 for Hazards. However, one more throw for Revox. And a nice drop.
Oh, too much.
Just a bit outside.
So there's
2 points. I think that's 2 blue.
2.
Why is that last blue one on the line there, John? I can't
that's what
tell.
they're discussing.
They say 3. Can't tell from here, John. It does look like it's slightly on the blue line, but might have to have Shane come in or.
They're having a discussion.
3 blue.
3
blue is the call. So a fantastic round for Hazards.
So an 8-4 lead halfway through for Hazards over Revox Renegades. The Hazards trying to join off constantly, who won the first semifinal matchup by an 11-6 score.
Well, I'll tell you what, Revox started these first few rounds really kind of in it and scored points very quickly. But Hazards has, found their stride. They've picked up quite a few points, and now we're looking at an 8-4 lead by Hazards as Michelle drops a beautiful stone just inside the red circle there to start out our next round, our 8th in. And here comes Revox. Now, I believe.
I don't know if that one.
I believe does that stone get taken off? It does. That stone gets taken off because it did flip up on its side. So that is how that works. If it touches the handle, that's how that works. Okay.
Get the official word there from our scorers here. It's the Hazards trying to really open things up. They currently have a 4-point advantage at 8-4. That was through halfway.
Nice knockout, man. I'll tell you what.
For
our youngest player, we. Okay, we just found out that our youngest player here is Grady, and he had an excellent throw that was subsequently knocked out by Hazards, but still an excellent job of taking command of the end.
Rob, if we had an all-tournament team, he would be making a good case right about now.
I don't know how old he is. I'm going to guess he's 9 or 10, but you know what they say, start him young. He is 8. He's 8, so he's 8 years old, showing up a lot of these adults here in the curling game. Future looks bright for our young star. He might be signed to a futures contract. Who knows?
Yeah.
And here comes Chris from Revox. Last stone. And a nice knockout and a nice 2-point swing.
Response.
1 point for Hazards, switches to 2 points for Revox.
So we've got an 8-6 score. That after 8 ends. We head to the 9th end here in the second semifinal of the Flagship City Sports Curling League. Again, I want to thank our official sponsors, Hazards Indoor Mini Golf and Social Pub, along with IPA Pizza. bringing you coverage of tonight's Curling League Championships here. 2025, again, this started in 2019. And we take it to Perry Square tonight in downtown Erie. Is that one flipped up on the handle again?
We'll have to take that off the board here. I believe it's being removed. There we go. Okay, and here comes Michelle from Hazards.
Great shot.
Tell you what, she's really found her stride. Her last few stones very consistent, right down the middle, good scoring positions. But here comes Grady, and he does a center block up top.
Also want to say a big shout out, Rob. Your production team here doing a great job getting things set up and providing that professional atmosphere to put this all together. And
you know, the Erie Downtown Partnership and the EDDC contacted me and said, we want to film this. We want to film our finals. You know, we've done this league. People love it. It's fun. And I said, sure. Do you want to do it with 3 cameras and get an announcer involved? I know an excellent sportscaster up at Erie News Now, so I called you, John, and I said, John, I need you to lead this thing. And you know, it's a fun little setup, and I like that people around town see the value in this kind of stuff, but also realize, you know, you take all this time to put this league together and give people a fun experience. Why not take it to the next level, film it, have fun with it, you know, all of that.
And it is a good start here for Hazards as they lead 8-4, and they have position for 2 more points as things stand now. Going to go maybe defensive as that one pushes in there, so that'll be interesting there.
Yeah, so George actually might have put Revox in a little bit of a better position, but they do have 2 stones left, and I think Chris is going to attack his own stone here. It would probably be the best play, and maybe kind of pin it against the back one there and stall it.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of talking about maybe attacking that way, attacking his own stone and ricocheting that stone and taking out Hazards in the backside there.
That sets things up for a point.
Things up. That's a point. That's a point for Revox right now. There is 1 more stone. Again, McQueenie. Now, this is a tough throw.
He's brought in the hammer, though. He's brought the power to that final stone, kind of being the cleanup guy.
The problem here is the ricochet is going to be challenging because if he attacks the Revox stone, he actually could score points for Revox. He could turn this into a 2-point round for Revox instead of 1.
Yeah, you wonder, though, too, if he splits between the Revox stone there and the Hazard stone on the left, if you could just slide it into the center, take your point, and go home.
Or does he attack to the left, his own stone to the left, and try to send it in at a diagonal behind the Revox stone and try to get it to that center pin? And it looks like he's going to attack from the right, so let's see what his move here is. I think they're talking about that, maybe attacking either left or right. He's moving left now. I think he's going to attack his own stone from the left.
I feel like we're sitting here talking golf strategy, left or right. See where it breaks.
And the cool part about this game is, you know, that it's not just, you know, throw it. You have to think about these things. You gotta think of some physics. You know, it's almost like a little bit of a geometry, a billiard game in a way.
Good thing I'm not playing, Rob.
Oh. And that wasn't.
That's going to go to
I think it's going to go to. I think it's going to go to Revox. 1 point for Revox. But it was an excellent throw by Tom, and he cleared out there. He had a good opportunity at it.
And all of a sudden, a 4-point lead that existed for the Hazards at the halfway point is down to 1, 8-7 as we go to the 10th end.
8-7 in the 9th or 10th? 8-7 in the 10th.
First throw. Wow, right on the money, right in the center.
So good rebound after a couple of stones that didn't count when they turned over on the handle. Good start there for the Revox Renegades looking to complete a comeback.
And Michelle does a nice knockout, takes the center position. I think that looking at that overhead, I think they have a slight advantage over Revox to the center, but it's kind of hard to see from here.
Yeah, it's probably pretty even, but I think the red on red sometimes. Now that one, that flip.
Did it flip? I don't think it went up, so I guess it can bounce.
As long as the handle does not touch.
Yeah.
So that one kind of flipped up, but not enough for the handle to touch. As we continue along here, this will be the second stone for the Hazards.
And that's a beautiful drop in, and that might be 2 points for Hazards now with the front block too.
Yeah. Again, Flagship City Sports Curling League Championships 2025, 5th year of action here. The Flagship City Sports League. first semifinal went off constantly by an 11-6 final, so they are awaiting the winner of this one. Currently, the lead exists for the Hazards, who are with your Blue Stones here at 8-7. That one left light, Rob, and outside the house.
Not really sure what the objective there was. I don't know if he
just a bit outside.
I think maybe he was trying to kind of wall off the center there. But they're at a big disadvantage here. 2 stones to 1 for 2 stones to 1 left for Hazard. So they're in a really good position. They could turn this into a 3-point game very quickly. And they got it. Not quite. They don't have 3 points. They have 2, maybe 2. It's hard. Can't really tell these 2 outer ones who's closer.
Yeah,
they definitely have the 1.
I think I'm losing the second one there. Yeah, I think Red. I think right now they currently have 1 point from that overhead shot. But again, it's a game of maybe centimeters.
And if you're Chris Norris in this situation, I'm not really sure where you attack. Do you
hope to go from the right?
Well, here we go. We'll see what his throw is. It looks like he's got a strategy to it. Yeah. Okay.
Real
so
opportunity
I
to
still
open
think
the
it's
door
1.
here.
I still think it's 1 for Hazards, but that's what they're deciding. Is it 1 or 2 blue?
You wonder if you split the gap, Rob. Think about the swing here. If they
Well,
can get
absolutely.
it between, you get 4.
Well, yeah. If you can split the gap and hit that back Hazards out, you're right. That's a 4-point swing,
You would take
which is
a
huge.
12-7 lead potentially here. We know the power.
And it looks like Tom might be attacking that way. And he knocks his own, but that's okay because now
That was the
2.
one in question. He gets 2.
Yeah, he gets 2 out of it.
So we're up to a 10-7 lead for Hazards as we go to the 11th end.
And smart not to be too greedy there, you know?
Yeah.
Splitting the 2 and hitting into that center pin, you very easily could knock yourself left or right. And then you end up from a 1-point game to a positive the other teammate. And like you said, they're currently leading. What are they leading? 10-7.
10-7. Hazards in
10-7.
front.
So and Michelle drops an absolute bomb right in the center of the pin to start out this round. And you know she's in a great position. Obviously she can be knocked out, but you've got to waste a stone to do it.
Another one that's going to go off and almost take out your camera, Rob. Dangerous conditions over there.
Those tripods are totally safe, but we've got Jesse over there as a consummate professional, not scared by any attack of a stone for sure.
Rob, we should thank again our sponsors here tonight: Hazards Indoor Mini Golf and Social Pub, and then Ipa Pizza's waiting there. You want to give the first taste test over there?
Well, you know, it was a little hot earlier, but it's probably solid now. Let's just rip a piece here. While we wait, you want one? You want one,
yeah,
John?
We'll take one.
All right, here
It's
you
a
go.
Good start.
There's
Wow,
yours.
Look at that. Wow, nice thin crust here. We'll each take a bite one at a time.
You ready?
Yeah. Should we give a pizza review like another famous That's a solid pie.
That's very tasty.
Yeah.
That's very tasty. You know, they moved into the food hall, I want to say last year, and they've done a fantastic job as we get another.
It's been a rough round for Revox Renegades here. 2 stones that go off to the sides. And boy, you want to talk about an opportunity to really maybe put a nail in a coffin here with a 3-point advantage.
It's too bad that outer one is not. I don't think that outer one's touching the blue on the far side. I think they only have 1 point right now. I'm not really sure. Because you have to be within the blue to score, right?
Yes. Yeah, you have to be
and
in
the
house.
Queenie drops a beautiful one right across the center.
But
now,
again, Chris
is going to have to attack heavy left and kind of come in on the side there. But he's got a good opportunity to knock them both out and score a point for himself. Let's see if he can do it. Wow. And he doesn't. But that's okay. Hey, 2 points for
Hazards.
And
a 12.
12-7.
Wait, 3?
I think they're calling that outer one to the blue line. I don't know if it is from here. I saw 3. Do we have 3? We've confirmed that that's 3. Confirmed 3 blue. So that was actually 3. So that outer one was in play. It didn't look like it was from here, but of course, you know, we're over here and the court's over there, and maybe I should have maybe I should have put a confidence monitor of an overhead. Next year we'll put a confidence monitor of an overhead right here for us.
Yeah, we can have the fan. We can have like a fan poll.
Yep,
live
absolutely.
active poll.
Put some controversy into the game.
So 13-7, the current advantage for Hazards over Revox Renegades. Looking to one of these teams join off constantly in that championship game coming up here at 8:30, and then we got another roller. It's been a tough going these last couple of ends for Revox Renegades. Watching the Flagship City Sports Curling League Championships here for 2025. Talking a little strategy. What? We're starting to see the advantage.
A little bit of a front block there. We'll see what Grady can do. He's had some excellent throws, so let's see what he can pull off.
I think he's going to go power here. Yeah, look at this. Wow, what a
wow,
shot.
what a beautiful shot by Grady. That was beautiful. 2 points for Hazards. He knocks them both out and drops a solid red ring point for his team. They each have 2 stones left. They're in a great position. He took out 2 stones. An excellent throw.
At just 8 years old, the stage is not too big for him.
No, and he's totally he's totally showing up all these adults over here. You know, he walked up very confidently. His dad talked to him for about 10 seconds, and he shook his head yes, and then threw the stone perfectly down the center, knocked the 2 out, and had a 1 to 2 point swing.
If they can make a comeback here, I'll be interested to see what the pregame meal was for him. You know, do you go with a little chicken parm?
I feel like
Shirley Temple?
I feel like you know, if it's a win for Revox, I feel like maybe we got to get Grady into the interview booth. Tom McQueenie comes in with a power hit and a solid point now.
Walks
and here comes
off there.
And Chris is not going to be done yet. He's going to go with the same attack that Tom did.
Look at that. He's got a fierce face ready to rock here.
And you know, he really could attack from the left and kind of take Tom out, and he could get a 2-point swing the other way.
Yeah, and they're going to need it as they trail currently 13-7 here, as I believe we're in the 11th end. And that'll give it to Revox Renegades the points. They will still trail, though, 13-8.
On the side. It's on the side. It's a little circle. It's not marked. Up top. Finger probably was just on it.
All right, we start things off in another roller here.
All right. Our overhead monitor needed a battery, but it's back up.
Sort of.
You got to tighten that arm there, Mike. Give it a tighten.
I don't want to have a technical difficulty. You've seen those sky cams go down in the NFL. We don't want to have an incident like that.
I don't think we're going to have any of that. I'm going to go over and help him. Let's hang on one second.
All right, we're here in the second semifinal here. It's the Revox Renegades and the Hazards. They're with the Blue Stones, and they have the current lead here at 13-7. I believe we are in the 12th end of 14 potentially, but again, with a lead of 13-7, that 6-point lead, depending on how things play out here, this could start to dwindle in terms of time for the Revox Renegades. It'll be the 3rd stone here upcoming for the Hazards, who went on quite of a run there in a big swing. They had 3 points 2 ends ago, currently in position to maybe pick up on a second.
I'm going to say that's 2 because this Revox shot is sort of totally in the blue, but you see that the Hazards one is kind of pinned in. And here comes Chris with the attack.
Oh.
And he does a great job of bringing himself in and knocking the other out. So here we are again. Tom McQueenie with the power shot. Will he attack directly?
Does he have the power?
He does. He throws for attack.
Oh.
And he clears the field, and I think it's a 0-point round.
Nothing, yeah.
I think that's a 0-point round. That is a 0-point round.
Yeah.
Have we had a 0-point round yet?
We have not. That'll be our first of the 2 semifinals. We've had points at least 1. So that will come up empty, and that will send us to. So that was the 13th end. Is that it? That'll do it. So we have a final of what, 13-7?
8, 10, 13, 7. I thought it was 13, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
13-8.
Now, this is the last round right here. Yeah, so it's
So the 13-8 as we go, where they're going to just play out the 14th end here, but the Hazards will be the ones advancing to take on Off Constantly for the championship matchup. That'll be coming your way here shortly after this. We'll have a post-game interview from one of the captains to kind of set the stage here and what we will see.
And you know what I appreciate about this? You know, you can't win, but that doesn't mean that you stop playing the game, right? And it's a constant lesson that you teach in all levels of sport, is that you don't just stop playing. You finish the round, finish strong, finish as best that you can.
And I know he's not going to advance here, Rob, but we talked about it throughout this broadcast. Grady has a bright future in the Flagship City Sports Curling League.
I think we should bring Grady in for an interview.
I think we should
we should have him on. We'll have him on before the captain.
Yeah,
I think so.
So one stone apiece left, and we'll see how things play out. Currently, it would be 2 more points. Just throwing it down there. The lightest throw probably we've seen there. 13. We'll see what Chris does.
And Chris lays one in perfectly. It's a beautiful last throw. That's excellent.
So 13-9 will be the final here.
looks like red, right?
Yeah.
One red.
13-9, and then 11-6 was in the first semifinal. So our championship matchup will be Off Constantly against Hazards for a chance to call themselves the Flagship City Curling League champions. We're going to have a post-game interview. We're also going to bring in Grady, as he had quite a round there. We'll bring him in. A good show of sportsmanship, a shaking of the hands here at the end, Rob, kind of like the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yep. All right, well, let's make sure we don't lose Grady here.
I'll let you go grab our contestants, and we'll continue to set things up again. The 5th year of the Flagship City Sports Curling League Championships. Want to thank our official sponsors, Hazards Indoor Mini Golf and Social Pub, as well as IPA Pizza. IPA, good decision down at the Flagship City Food Hall. They have provided some pizza for us tonight, and it is some delicious pizza to get us through tonight's championship. Things have cooled down since we started things off. We started under the beautiful blue and sunny skies of a downtown Erie, Pennsylvania here at Perry Square, and we will continue into the evening. One more matchup here at 8:19. We're going to continue on. 8:30 is the scheduled start time for our championship as Rob Frank comes in to join us here shortly. We're bringing in one of our contestants from the Revox Renegades, Grady, at 8 years old, as we'll get set to get him the microphone. His mic is unmuted. We bring back Rob Frank.
Check.
And Rob,
you're going to hold this one. Okay, we're here. We're going to be doing the
post game.
Let's make sure, Joe, are you ready for post game? Joe, you ready for post game? Okay, battery changeover. Okay. We'll let these guys warm up while we're doing it. So Grady, we're just going to slide a little closer here. Let's move your chair in a little bit so you're in this shot here. You're in 8th grade. Where do you go to school?
I'm not in 8th grade, but I'm in.
Or I'm sorry, you're 8 years old. Where do you go to school?
Montessori.
Montessori. Okay. Okay, Hannah's back up. We're good. I got a thumbs up from our producer, Joe over there, switching the live feed for us. So Grady, tough break, but I'll tell you what, you had a couple really excellent stones out there.
Thanks.
How long have you been playing curling?
2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years. Well, you can tell. I mean, you have a unique throw and a lot of confidence in that. I don't know, maybe the 10th end. I can't remember exactly what round it was, but you walked right up. Your dad talked to you for about 2 seconds, and then you threw a stone right in the middle and had a 2-to-1 point. How do you figure out how to attack? What are you using there?
Sometimes I just try to throw it like pretty hard down there to get some stones out. Sometimes I like try to set up like good blockers and some just like use a great throw.
How'd you learn all this?
My dad taught me a lot. Practice sometimes before the games.
That's awesome. It's pretty cool to kind of be in here, and everybody you're facing is like 4 or 5 times your age, right? And here you are walking in and very confidently throwing those stones right down the court. And what's that like for you?
It's a big honor to me, and it's really embarrassing when I don't throw a good shot.
Oh, well, you know what?
I don't know if you had any embarrassing shots
I don't
tonight.
think you had any embarrassing shots tonight. In fact, you had quite a few excellent shots that I saw. And And in fact, what's it like also playing a game with your dad and coming down here and being a part of the league?
I think it's nice, and I'm happy I get to do this every Thursday and have fun.
Do you feel you've surpassed Dad yet?
What?
Do you feel you've surpassed Dad and
Maybe
teaching
a
him
little,
things?
but
He says maybe a little he's surpassed Dad. Dad's shaking his head yes. So Dad's agreeing that you've surpassed him. Well, obviously someone's going to sign you to a futures contract here. I don't know if Chris is going to be able to hold you in the team. We might have to
Get
create
some
your
NIL money
own.
for him.
Yeah, right? Get him right into that curling league right away. Absolutely.
We'll get him down to Happy Valley, Rob.
Yeah, right.
Well, Grady, good stuff. Congratulations on a great season for you and Revox Renegades, and thanks for joining us.
you're welcome.
Great job, buddy.
Rob, a great interview from our youngest participant tonight.
Absolutely did a killer job.
And then where is our captain for
I don't
our
know.
winners?
We
Where
need
do the Hazards
We
go?
need We need a member from Hazards. Who is it? It looks like Tom McQueenie is reluctantly coming over to sit down. He's just going to talk about Hazards, mini golf, and social pub over and over again. This is actually you know what's going to happen. This is going to be like the Marshawn Lynch, where he just says the same thing over and over again. That's
he's here so he don't get fined. Or he's just going to run through somebody over and over and over
again. So, Tom, a excellent win today, a decisive
13-9.
win in the 13th. Oh, he needs his glasses. He
It's
looks
all
like
about the presentation, Rob.
he looks like Chris Moneymaker now. If you remember that poker player from a few years back in the day.
I'm surprised he didn't have walk-up music. He had such,
You know what? In post, we might have to add that in.
Yeah.
We might have to add that in.
Please do. Please do.
So, Tom, a decisive win in the 13th end, really. The 14th end didn't count. You had so much of a lead that you were in a good position. So, the team you put together, who are they? Who's your misfit group of toys over there?
Well, our number one player is Chris Casey. He's our scorekeeper, and he's the heart of the team, really. Jason Henry, he does his best. He's a big guy, not a lot of power for some reason. Michelle Arrigo, also the glue.
Our captain.
And that's George Duskus,
Yep.
also a finesse player.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had a challenge getting people to play from Hazards because we're always working, but here we are. We made it, and we got a big win today.
I noticed that you're affectionately called at the end. That last thrower of each round is typically called the hammer.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they're having to attack and defend. So, do you like playing that hammer position of the curling? Do you like being that last player and kind of doing that strategy, that physics, that geometry to figure out how to maybe do some point swings?
Well, I mean, I paid for the team, so I just decided I'm going to do it. So it doesn't matter if they want
The
to.
anchor.
Live rock line for the championship was -1.5 off constantly.
So,
So
playing
you-
the underdog role there, Rob.
Yeah. What? So you're going in the championship game here coming up in just a few minutes. 2 games back to back. How's that affect your team?
Oh, we feel great. It's not freezing today, so that's all that matters.
I'd imagine a couple of these matches have been played in some pretty inclement weather. It's not bad now. It's 45 degrees. I mean, that's not the
This
worst.
season has been kind of miserable weather-wise, but it's a great night.
What's your strategy? You guys you weren't here for their match, but have you played this team before?
We have.
Mm-hmm.
They beat us.
Okay.
But I think it was a close game, if I recall. Just let the game unfold, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
let's get ready. We'll give these guys a couple of minutes to prepare before the championship game. Again, off constantly. Hazards for the championship in 2025 for the Flagship City Sports Curling League. We will be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Thank you, Tom.